This journey of transforming my body through physical fitness, that was just the beginning.
Yeah.
That was just the surface. This has created a sense of value in me. I didn't value myself that much. I didn't really love myself. I didn't really see the beauty and the good in me. And once I started to work out and work and walk, and I'm crying when I'm working out because this is hard and it's difficult. But once I start to understand that this is so much deeper than just lifting a weight. This weight that I have on me is a representation of how I feel about myself and how I'm feeling inside. So with so many of the women that messaged me, I didn't have the time to tell each of them, how do you really feel about yourself? Because you know what to do to lose weight. But you're not doing it because what, you don't feel worthy? Some women don't want to be seen. Some women suffered some traumas, and they use their weight as a blanket so that no one could ever violate them again. Is food your companion? Are you lonely? Have you not found love within? So you ease that loneliness on a Friday or Saturday night with food and ice cream, because it will make you feel better.
Welcome back to another episode of I Am Baba, the podcast where we talk about personal development, fitness, and the beautiful chaos of life. Today's episode is going to be special. I mean real special. Because we have a special guest. She's an entrepreneur, a business coach, a fitness enthusiast, and a proud mother of 3 incredible daughters. She has recently founded a movement called Entitled Black, hosting empowerment events that bring women together to support, collaborate, and elevate each other. Let me tell you, her fitness journey has fueled growth in every area of her life. Today, she will be telling that story. How fitness became her anchor and how she juggles being a mom, business leader, and a community builder while showing up fully for herself. Plus, we'll explore what self-love really means to her and how she teaches others to cultivate it. So, without any further ado, let's dive right in. Please join me in welcoming the one and only Tia King. Welcome, Tia.
Thank you for having me. This is so amazing. Thank you. Wow, this is beautiful.
Awesome.
It's an honor to be here.
So, Tia, I have watched you evolve in your fitness game in just a few months. I know transformation is often sparked by a pivotal moment in anyone's life. I'm curious, can you walk us through what your life looked like before you began? What was the turning point in your life that made you decide it was time to change? And how did fitness fit into that picture?
Wow. Oh, the journey. What a journey it was. So I'm going to kind of go back a little bit. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, all the way back.
Okay, I'll go back.
Yeah, there you
go back to childhood where this started. Because usually when someone is struggling with their weight, you can trace it back to something that happened in their life pre-adulthood. And for me, it started just growing up, and food was very sparse. So I'm the oldest of 7. And as you can imagine, we had to make do with what we had. My mother was a single mom. And it was really hard for us to make ends meet. So I remember being in school in the 5th grade, hungry, and asking people, are you gonna eat your egg roll? Because they would give us 2. Wow. And so I was like, And I wasn't ashamed because I was like, I have to eat. And I was always really, really tiny, like, mind you. So it started there, knowing that, like, this lunch at school is probably going to be what holds me over for, like, the rest of the day.
Okay.
Growing up, when you get into junior high school, hormones start kicking in. You start liking boys. They start liking you back. I was always really tiny and petite, like very, very thin. And I'm in the 8th grade and girls are developing, right? They're developing all over. And I'm this little tiny frame. Like, I'm developing, but
But at this time, what age were you?
I was about 13
okay.
years old. I was in the 8th grade. And people would always say to me, oh my God, you're so skinny. You're so skinny. I mean, I was maybe 95 pounds, 100 pounds, you know, as a 13-year-old. No, probably about 100 pounds. But I didn't think I was skinny. I thought I was okay. I thought there was nothing wrong with my size. It wasn't until people started commenting and then I'm seeing the girls around me developing and the boys, they're in puberty, so their hormones are raging and they're looking at the girls. So that's where a complex started with my weight.
Okay.
So fast forward to high school, miraculously over the summer, I developed. Boop, boop. I'm developing.
Okay.
And then I started attracting the football players. And I had the one of the star football players in high school, and we were together like the high school couple, and he loved my size. I was probably, say, 120 by the 9th, 10th grade, right? Then fast forward to me having children. And this is all gonna make sense in a second.
Okay.
I had children. And by the time I was 21, I had all of my daughters. I'm 42 now. So you gain weight, but then I got back small again. And it wasn't until I turned about 24, about 24 years old, that weight started to kind of pick up. But it wasn't a huge amount of weight. It was just weight. I started to like maybe be about 140 pounds, 145. And then probably got to like 150. And then people were like, oh, you've gained weight. So my whole life, it was, you're either too small or you're too big. Like, I'm starting to gain weight. And then they just caused a complex. And then there was already a unhealthy emotional attachment to food. Even when I was on my own and I knew that I could take care of myself, I would still eat as if I wasn't going to eat again. And after a while, that's going to start catching up. So you fast forward through life, and I got to my heaviest weight last year, December, of 206 pounds.
Wow.
And actually, when I met you,
I was just going to interrupt you there.
when I met you, I was 206 pounds still. That was the weight I was at, and I'd never gotten that big in my life. When life happened, I would eat. And over the years, now granted, some people are like, 206 pounds, that's my dream. But for me, being a small frame woman all my life, even after I had children, I got back really small, 125, 130 at the most. 206 pounds was really heavy. That's an additional 76 pounds on my body. And it wasn't until I met you, it was November of 2023. And we were at this huge all black party.
Black party event. I still remember very well.
And I remember us just having a conversation, talking the whole time. And I don't know why I opened up to you about it, but I started to talk to you about, wanting to be in shape. I saw that you were in shape, and I'm like, okay, he looks like he knows what he's doing. And so it wasn't until I met you that I really started to take my health serious, because I feel like you helped me get to the root of what was really going on. So that was my journey with that.
That's how it started.
That's how it started.
So you'd say that was like the pivotal moment
Absolutely.
when that change had to happen.
Yeah, you really helped me realize that the way I take care of my body and how I'm committed to my health, it not only affects my health, but every area of my life.
Yeah.
And you're like, my dear, if you do not start to take your health serious, it's going to affect you in business. It's going to affect you in your relationships. My dear, do you understand?
I know. You're trying to play a lot, but it's all good, you know. I know I have an accent,
And
which
it's
is very
beautiful.
beautiful.
Beautiful accent. Love it.
All right. So anyway, fitness can be overwhelming at the start, right? But what were some of the biggest mental or physical barriers you had to overcome at the beginning of your journey? And how did you push through them?
That was really tough. I believe that was harder than actually getting up and working out mentally, because, you know, when you're in a habit of eating yourself until you get sleepy
Yeah.
and not used to waking up with energy and being addicted to sugar, because that was what I was addicted to, sugar, the carbs. My body physically was craving these things. Like I just wouldn't feel like I needed to like I was on drugs.
I really do resonate with you there.
Yeah.
I think sugar is a very big addiction, right? People think that, you know, addiction is more about some hard drugs like cocaine, you know, heroin, you know, all the things you have to shoot into your body. But I believe one of the biggest addictions that we all have is this sugar.
Yes.
Our bodies are always craving these sweet things. But now when you recognize it, that's where you start gaining the power. So yeah, I mean, just continue.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing, because I was used to always having something sweet at night.
Yeah.
And then mentally, I had given up. I'm like, I've been struggling trying to lose this weight for the past 8 years. And nothing I was doing was working. It was like, if I work out, I'm eating bad. And if I'm eating a little better, I'm not moving my body. It just, connecting the two was such a struggle until, I mean, I'm not trying to toot your horn, but you really did help me understand how powerful my mind was and how to overcome this. And you would just say, like, when your body is sweating, it's letting you know that you're alive. Like the sweat is letting you know, like, your body is speaking to you, it's talking, it's working. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Easy for you to say. But I had to tell myself, sometimes 20 times a day, you can do this. You're worth it. You're worth life. You're worth living. You're worth being your best, you know, having the best and feeling good in my energy now. I used to take naps all the time. I have to force myself if I need a nap. Like, I have energy. I lost a little over 30 pounds. I still have some, you know, way to go, but I feel so much better. Like,
that's the part that is so amazing.
I feel so much better.
You know, like within 6 months, you were already kicking ass. You had dropped so much weight, and that was really good, you know. Yeah, I mean, like talking about that, because I remember we had a conversation one time, and you were like, damn, my body is just hurting, you know, and I don't know if I want to do this. I remember we had this conversation and we said we had to dial everything down all the way to like just the basic small stuff. Walking, you remember? Just not trying to, you know, do something that would overwhelm you. So how did that help you? Because I remember we really had some conversation about that.
Well, you you had me do the weirdest thing, and I was like, what is this man telling me to do? I remember texting you, and you were like, listen, just go to the gym. Go to the gym, look around, and leave. Do that for a week. And I was like, is he insane? Like, why would I waste my time? Get up and go to the gym, look around, get familiar with the place, and leave. And I did it. And the next thing you know, I was like, well, I might as well get on the treadmill while I'm here. So Implementing the habit of small, consistent things over a consistent period of time has absolutely helped me. So that went from the treadmill to the stairs, to getting on the machines, lifting weights. It just translated over time. And another thing you told me too was this is a lifestyle. Don't look at it like, oh, once I lose my little 30, 40 pounds, I'm good. Just let it be your lifestyle. And that mindset has kept me going, because I would have already quit by now. Like, I'm fitting some jeans I couldn't fit. Yeah. And I literally like need a belt for these, because my old mindset would have been like, I lost the weight. I look good. Mm-hmm. I'm done. Yeah. But you helping me realize that this is a lifestyle. Don't look at it just on the physical aspect only. Mm-hmm. It's a spiritual thing. It's an emotional thing. It's mental. And so just doing one thing at a time has helped me stay. I've never been consistent working out ever in my life. This is the longest I've ever worked out in my life. And I can't imagine my life without moving my body daily. Like the other day I was dancing with my daughters, and like we literally danced to the ground, and I got back up. And I didn't have to hold on to anything, and my knees weren't popping.
You see what
I was like,
about?
oh yeah, I got this. It's up now. It's amazing. And I'm gonna be honest, I was really frustrated with you when you were helping me through this process, because we were changing the paradigms that have been set up in my mind, and it was very uncomfortable. And I was like, why would he want me to go into the gym and just look around? I could be working out. That's a waste of time. I need to lose this weight. I was in such a rush to get there that I wasn't being in that moment, and just being present in that moment, working out and just being grateful for my body. And once I stopped talking down to my body, you know, and resenting it, which you helped me realize, I started to grow an appreciation for it, and my body started to appreciate me back. And it's a journey, a forever journey. I will be working out at 90. I will, even if it's just walking.
Yeah, your body is going to be able to get you to that point, you know, so far as you're just doing what the body needs, which is moving it, right? Giving it the right rest, feeding it with the right stuff, you know. And when we're talking about feeding, it's just not about food. It's about everything that you are consuming, that environment, the energy around the eye. So all of these things, they all contribute to like the feeding, and that prolong your life. And in that 90 years, you will still be doing this thing and probably will be having this conversation. You know? You really did make a very important point, you know, when you did mention about not rushing it. Nobody wants to take the time to go through the process. It's just one day at a time, one step at a time. So it has to be that way. That is how you make it sustainable. That's how you make it a lifestyle. Like they say, you know, what is easy to do is also easy not to do. Like that, right?
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Once you build consistency, did fitness inspire new habits in other areas of your life? What new practices or routines have become part of your lifestyle? And how have they impacted your overall well-being?
Oh my God. Once I committed to myself and my health, it absolutely impacted just so many areas of my life. When you prioritize your physical fitness and really understand that this is deeper and it's so much more about loving yourself and keeping the commitments that you make to yourself, it will automatically translate. And it absolutely translated in my business, in my friendships, and, you know, my relationships with my daughters. Just we consistently start having meetings like, okay, let's meet every week and let's check in with each other, how we're feeling. Like, it's just, once you start to really go on this journey of health, of healing, it totally changes your entire life. Yes, so it translated into my diet. So I'd never meal prepped. That wasn't even a thing, right? And what I would do is just eat when I'm hungry, and sometimes eat more than I should because I'm waiting all day. What I do now is I can only eat food 2 days max, right? But what it helped me do is I get up early and I'll make my food for the day. So like, for example, yesterday, I made my ground turkey, I made the green beans, and I made some rice. And that was enough to last all day. And I also had a salad made. So this is what I can eat all day, and I didn't eat much rice, but I'm okay with having a little bit. I'm not a anti-carb person, but nowhere near where I used to do. And so I had my food ready, and that lasted today. And I was able to eat that today, add a little curry to it. It was delicious. My sleep, I make sure I get enough sleep. I make sure I get my good 8 hours. Some people can do 6. I need 8. But I don't stay up past a certain time. Like you don't catch me up at midnight.
Yeah.
Barely 11, like I'm in bed about 10 o'clock. I'm up by 6. And that helps my mind. I'm clear. I have a lot of clarity. So business, my diet, my sleep, my relationships, it's just translated in so many different areas.
Because you started feeling a lot better about yourself, and then it all kind of like flowed into other aspects of your life.
It did.
I mean, what do you have to tell your friends about this particular deep reflection? Because I think it's the most profound realization that I came through when it comes to fitness, that it's just not about the physical changes. It's not just about growing those. I mean, I have those biceps. They look good.
They do.
I love them. But it's just not all about it. It's way deeper than that. We just sometimes fail to understand that it's just not all about those physical gains. Having a small waist and then having the butt pop all the way behind. So it's not just all that. But I mean, those are really, they are valuable goals. But at the end of the day, there's so much more that you have to celebrate when it comes to fitness. Yeah. You've spent years empowering others through coaching and community work. How do you teach your clients to use fitness as a tool for personal development and self-discovery?
That's an amazing question. And I'm glad you asked that because recently I posted, I was just out the country. I went to Jamaica.
Oh,
and
okay.
I wore a 2-piece for the first time. I looked amazing.
Okay.
And I posted it in my story, and I had so many people messaging me, so many women, because I haven't done any surgery or anything like that.
Wow.
And so many women were like, what are you doing? What are you eating? What da all this stuff. And I said, I'm going to create something for them.
Yeah.
It's deeper. We all know how to lose weight.
Yeah.
Eat less, eat better, move your body more. Kind of simple.
Yeah.
But the reason why it was hard for me to lose weight was because it was something deeper going on within. This journey of transforming my body through physical fitness, that was just the beginning.
Yeah.
That was just the surface. This has created a sense of value in me. I didn't value myself that much. I didn't really love myself. I didn't really see the beauty and the good in me. And once I started to work out and work and walk, and I'm crying when I'm working out because this is hard and it's difficult. But once I start to understand that this is so much deeper than just lifting a weight. This is a representation. This weight that I have on me is a representation of how I feel about myself and how I'm feeling inside. So with so many of the women that messaged me, I didn't have the time to tell each of them, how do you really feel about yourself? Because you know what to do to lose weight. But you're not doing it because what? You don't feel worthy. You don't feel, some women don't want to be seen. Some women suffered some traumas, and they use their weight as a blanket so that no one could ever violate them again. Is food your companion? Are you lonely? Have you not found love within? So you ease that loneliness on a Friday or Saturday night with food and ice cream, because it will make you feel better.
Yeah, that's deep.
You know? And so I didn't respond to them with, I work out 4 or 5 days a week. I said, oh, I'm going to create something, because until you deal with your value system,
Yeah,
it never worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, you've really like raised a very important point, I would say. I mean, I'm not a woman. I would hardly even pay attention to that aspect. When you mentioned, using your weight as a blanket, to cover up things
Oh,
that
yeah.
you have to work on about your self-worth, self-value. I think that's really very, very deep. I mean, now that you are here, what word of advice would you give to that specific person? Because I believe there's a lot of people currently going through this very same situation that you just explained. You understand? Like using their weight to cover up themselves, especially because they don't want to be violated anymore. Maybe because they look at themselves like it's no longer worth it for them to take care of themselves. I mean, like the self-love, the value system is all the way down. I mean, so what advice would you have, especially for the people that follow you?
Well, for one, I would start with being around people who believe in you. I would surround myself. It wasn't until I met Baba
Yeah.
that I understood the correlation between my health and the commitment and the love for myself. So one, I would surround myself around people who are health conscious, who are progressing. They don't have to be in perfect shape, but they're working and their mindsets are towards the better. I would surround myself around those people. Two, for the women who have experienced some type of abuse and some type of SA, because there are a lot of women out there who've experienced that. And I know that you wanted to cover up yourself so you wouldn't be desirable. For one, my heart goes out to those women, to you women. I would suggest talking to someone if you're struggling with your weight and you've suffered some type of abuse or trauma. I would talk to a professional for sure. And then for those women who had a complex like myself, searching for validation, because so many of us are searching for acceptance and validation, I would get a coach. I would get a coach. I would get a mindset coach. I would get a transformational coach. I would get a fitness coach. I'll probably have all three if you could. I would get a coach and I would really learn how to value myself, because it starts with your value. It starts with how you see yourself. Even for me, I was like, I don't want to lose weight because I'm going to be all jiggly. Right? I don't want to be all jiggly and my breasts are going to start sagging. And so some women are afraid to lose weight because they're like, I'm going to have a lot of skin.
Oh, I'm going to lose my butt.
I'm going to lose my butt. All of these things, right? That's where a fitness coach comes in, someone who really understands the body and physique. And yes, some things are going to change with your body, but you know what? For me, it was, do I want to stay looking swollen or do I want to be in shape? And actually my body started to form really beautifully.
See what I'm talking?
More than I thought it would. So I would say you have to already start appreciating yourself where you are. I think we think oftentimes, once I'll lose the weight, then I will be happy. Then I'll feel pretty. Then I'll celebrate. Cultivate celebrating yourself now. Cultivate those good feelings now. That's like someone saying, when I get married, I will be faithful. You might want to start practicing faithfulness now, because this is something you're going to want to do for the rest of your life. So start to appreciate yourself, to love yourself. Now, you may not be able to look in the mirror and say, I love my body, but don't hate it anymore. Stop the thoughts. Stop the negative thoughts. You might not be able to replace them with positive right away, but if you can just stop the negative thoughts, you can allow for yourself to get some better feelings that help you become motivated to move your body. So, yeah. Focus
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean, you
things.
talking about this. I mean, I'm just looking at you because definitely, like, you've really transformed.
Oh,
Honestly, and I give it to you because of the work you put on yourself every day. It's possible you could take the easier choice. I mean, there's a lot of people now that would take a flight to Brazil or to Turkey or to Mexico,
hmm
to go and get these surgeries that would make them automatically out of the blue this beautiful figure and all
yeah.
of that. I mean, this is not judging anybody. There's no judgment here. But I'm just asking to
hmm
understand. You had the choice. You could do that, right? Why didn't you take that route? You probably would have been able to enhance other areas of your body, right? But you still decided to take the harder part. But why?
Because it was deeper than just a quick fix. I got to a point in my life where I was tired of depending on anything outside of myself for validation.
Yeah.
That included my body looking a certain way, my face looking a certain way. So much of my life was getting fulfillment from the outside. You know what I mean? So if my butt is big, I get the attention from the men. If I have the money, the ladies want to follow me. Just all these outside validations. I knew if I was going to change my life, I was going to have to take the stairs,
Yeah.
not the elevator. And but I knew I was going to learn something that would help me stay true to myself through this whole process. And I also wanted to get back to who my true self was. But I don't even know if I ever really knew who she was before the trauma. I don't know. I didn't want my daughters to see the quick fixes in life because that's not always going to be the case.
Yeah.
That's not going to always be the reality. And I saw a lot of women who had surgery and they got addicted to surgery. And one surgery was never enough. And they needed this and then they needed that. Because when you can see, oh, I can make this small, I can make this big, I could da 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 da. I don't know too many women that only got one surgery. They were getting multiple.
Yeah.
Every woman I know that had surgery never just had one or not just one procedure done. And I didn't want to be addicted to that. I was already addicted to so many other things. I wanted to be the true Tia and accept her and love her and appreciate her. And I'm not saying people that do that don't appreciate themselves, but I've done enough quick fixes with drinking caramel fraps every morning, with eating fast food. I didn't want to do any more of that to myself. I wanted to get to the nitty gritty. I wanted to release the trauma, release the complexes, the body dysmorphia that I was battling with and facing. I knew in order to deal with that, I had to go inward, and it was nothing that I could do outwardly that was going to fix the inward. So, yeah, that's why I didn't do that.
I mean, that's obviously a very, very good view of it. So, in today's world, self-love can be misunderstood. What does self-love mean to you personally at this stage in your life? How do you incorporate it in your daily life? What advice do you have for anyone struggling with self-love?
Wow, self-love to me is breastfeeding.
Oh, okay. You're gonna have to explain that.
So, when a woman breastfeeds her child, it is highly recommended that she has a very good, healthy, balanced diet. When I was breastfeeding my children, before I nursed them, I eat good vegetables and protein, drink water. My milk would be very white, very rich. And the times when I didn't eat and I fed them, my milk would be very clear, kind of like see-through almost. And so I say all that to say, just like they say with the airplane, you got to put the mask on first. You got to feed yourself first. What does that look like? For me, that looks like waking up in the morning and quieting myself. And it's okay If my brain is racing 1,000 miles per hour, that happens. Feeding myself, pouring into myself, giving an offering to myself is a form of self-love. And I'll rub on myself. I love you, Tia. Thank you for being here with me on this journey. Self-love is everything. And in order for me, in the platform that I'm in, to pour into people, I have to give to myself first. Because I pour so much, so much to where it can drain you if you're not properly filled. So every time I can find myself starting a day without giving to myself, I think of breastfeeding. That comes into my mind like, oh, let me pour into myself real quick. Because once I pour into myself, those that I pour into them richly. And I'm able to give them the best of what I have because I gave it to myself first. So yeah.
See that? That's a very, very brilliant way of putting it, you know. Okay.
Thank you.
So, how do you balance physical and emotional health on a daily basis?
By taking my walks.
Okay.
I go in nature. I ground myself in nature. I take my shoes off. It's this beautiful tree on the path that I walk. And it's like a willow tree. It's just like the leaves just fall down. Like it's just hugging you. And I'll stand there.
What do you be smoking when you're doing this work?
No,
What are you
I'm not
saying?
smoking. It's like, it just feels like it's hugging you. It just flows. And I'll take my shoes off and I'll stand underneath that tree and I just breathe in and I look at nature and I remind myself that we are on a rock in space. Everything is okay.
See that?
Nature is perfect. Everything is ran precisely, calculated, doesn't miss a beat. I'm going to be okay.
See that?
Reminding myself to just, nature consistently grounds me. Yeah.
So you are the child of the universe.
Absolutely. Mother of the earth.
Okay. So for you, that's like the first and foremost thing that you do to create that balance within yourself.
I get up, quiet myself, just quiet my mind. Don't go on my phone first. Pour into myself, love on myself, speak to myself. Immediately put on my workout clothes and I'll go walk outside before I go to the gym.
So I'm gonna go a little bit deeper.
Oh.
It might get personal.
Okay.
I'm so very proud. You're a single mother who has raised 3 beautiful and incredible children.
Thank you.
Now let me ask you, are all your 3 children from the same relationship?
No, I have my oldest 2 daughters are by one man and my youngest daughter is by another.
You know, the reason why I'm asking this is not to intrude into your private life or anything, you know.
It's okay.
I also have children from different relationships and have been grossly judged by society. Tell me, how do you deal with this kind of pressure? How does that make you feel? What do you want to tell other people that experience this type of judgment every single day?
Ooh, that was heavy.
Let us
You're
debunk
going
this.
deep.
Yes, I told you we were going to go deep on this
Wow.
one.
That was something I struggled with for a really long time. When I had my youngest daughter, I was in church and someone I looked up to, she told me, no one's going to want a woman with 3 kids by two different men. You better try to hurry up and get a husband.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for you. The whispers of women, they were looking down on me. Wow, she's on her 3rd kid. She's only 20. Because I had my 3rd daughter at 20, and then I turned 21 a few months later. 20 years old with 3 kids, 2 different men, on welfare, food stamps, Section 8. They thought that I just wasn't going to be anything. They thought I was going to be just like my mom. She's fallen in the path just like her mother. Certain men wouldn't want to date me because like, oh, you got all these kids, you know. It was very, very difficult. It wore on my self-esteem and it caused me to try to overcompensate in dating, in life. Let me go extra just to prove that I'm not just a statistic. let me show this man, yes, I have 3 kids, but I'm a good person. You know, I have 3 kids, but I'll be here for you. Just overcompensating. I let that go a long time ago, though. And it's so funny now because at 42, all 3 of my daughters are adults. My youngest is 21. And those same men are talking to themselves in my inbox now. Those same women that were judging me, my God, I won't even dare talk about how their lives have gone. It was really hard to push past this stereotype that you're of lesser value. Oh, you got 3 kids. Oh, girl, hang it up. Oh, and you're a dark-skinned woman? Oh, please, hang it up. Uh, it was like, you're black, you're dark, you have 3 kids by two different men. You're doomed, especially in California, because I don't know what was going on with the colorism out here. Thankfully, I didn't go through colorism growing up, though. I never felt like I wasn't beautiful. Men never said like, oh, you're dark, I don't like you. But I'm just giving it from a societal point of view. You're dark. You're not this exotic, mixed looking woman. You're the stereotypical Black woman. That's how they were looking at you. And a life of trying to prove my worth, or if a man of a higher status, like I was dating a man who didn't have any children in my 20s. He didn't have any kids, very well off, did very well. But I think he felt like, you need to really be grateful that I'm dating you. Because this isn't really what you would typically get in your case. And so just running into different situations like that wanted me to shrink. I wanted to just hide and shrink. And at times I did. But something inside of me was like, I don't care what nobody says. You're going to make something of yourself. Your daughters are going to make something of yourself. I would hear that voice inside of me like, don't listen to them. You're going to do something great in this world. Don't listen to them. Your daughters are going to be great. Don't listen to them, Tia. You're going to do it. And all of my daughters off to college, HBCU, oldest daughter's a labor and delivery nurse, middle daughter's about to go in a nursing program, youngest daughter's going to be a psychologist. They don't have any children. One of them models, phenomenal women, amazingly beautiful.
It's so huge, my dear. I've been through it myself. The reason why I asked this, like I said, is not to get too deep and personal into your stuff.
I don't mind.
It's because I want those of you out there. I know you have kids from, just different relationships. And every day you are being judged. People trample on you and look down on you and put you at a place where you come second class just because you have kids from different relationships. I'm telling you, wake up, my friend. Don't let people continue to trample on you. I have kids from different relationships, and these children are thriving. They are doing very, very well. And believe me, it's taught me to learn a lot about who I truly am, to accept myself for what I am. There is no need to be ashamed of it. It is what it is. This categorization, this bad labeling, this way of subduing other people just based on how they decided to procreate. There is no one way of doing anything in this world. I love you. You are loved. So don't judge yourself anymore. Don't let anybody judge you. I know the biggest part of the judgment comes from you, but you have to let go. There's nothing wrong with that. There has never been anything wrong with that. What has happened to you had been designed so that you can learn more about yourself and becoming the best version of yourself no matter whatever circumstance. Yeah? So, Tia, your journey from cosmetologist to coach is a story of transformation. What was the pivotal moment that made you realize it was time for a change? And what internal shifts did you go through to embrace that transition?
Well, being a cosmetologist, as any of my fellow cosmetologists out there know, you are so much more than doing hair.
Yeah.
You are a therapist, an unlicensed one.
Yeah.
You are a coach, you're a motivator. So I had my salon for close to a decade, and it was just me in there. I was a solo salon owner and operator. And so these women had private time. They had the whole salon to themselves. Year after year, month after month, day after day, women were pouring their hearts out to me, confessing things to me, sharing some of their deepest secrets because they knew it would never go anywhere else.
Yeah.
I had to help women not give up on life, help them keep going, help them understand why, help them in business. So I was finding myself coaching these women
Yeah.
all the time. And they would come in like, Tia, the advice you gave me worked. I got engaged.
See?
The advice you gave me worked. Me and my mom restored our relationship. The advice you gave me worked. Me and my daughters are having a better relationship. I found myself constantly pouring, giving, and I collected so much data over the years to understand the common thread that so many of us faced and felt. But I wasn't quite ready to go into coaching. I was just like so content with doing my clients. I had a very, very lucrative business, steady income, consistent income. So leaving that was not in my mind. And so I was driving. This idea to host an event called Hats and Heels popped into my head. I'm like, what is this about? I shared it with my cousin. She's an attorney. And she was like, you should do it. But I sat on it because I'm like, I don't want to start doing all this. I deal with women all day.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit and talk to more women. So, I found myself always helping. And these women were getting results. They were getting results in their businesses. They were starting businesses. They were staying in relationships. I'm like, you tripping? Nope. You're being insecure. Okay, why are you insecure? Let's talk about this. And so and then she called me like, Tia, he proposed to me. I'm engaged now. Thank you so much for telling me this, this, and this. Because I collected so much data over the years, and I'm the oldest of 7, and we have a very female-dominated family, and I have tons of girl cousins. It's just a huge family of women. So it was so natural for me to transition from cosmetologist to coach. It was second nature, first nature, actually, because that's what I've always done, coaching my cousins and my sisters and my kids and then my clients. And so it just, I think it was just like my calling.
There's something that you once said, I think you believe imagination is a place to create, not escape.
Yes.
How has imagination helped you design the life you live today?
Ooh, it's powerful to sit and just to visualize. That's how anything has come to being. The chairs we're sitting in is someone imagined that. Maybe they was tired of their bums hurting on the concrete. They're like, there has to be a smoother way. I'll give you an example of imagination and how it greatly affected my life. Prior to me opening up my salon, it was 2014. It was around Thanksgiving. And I was being evicted from my place. I had just moved back from Atlanta. I went out there because that's like all of the like hairstylists. It's the Mecca. So I wanted to go out there and just be around a whole bunch of Black people and just be in the energy, because that's all you hear is Atlanta. Black people do well in Atlanta, 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 Atlanta. So I was like, well, I want to do well. I'm going to go to Atlanta. And I went to Atlanta and I met great people. But I was homesick. And I said, you know what? I can do what they're doing at home, back home. So I came home, fired up, ready to open up my salon. I got evicted because I could not pay my bills. Right? Got evicted November of 2014. And for the first time ever, I had to go back and stay with my mom. So I stayed at a friend's house for a month and I went to my mom's. I went to my mom's December 31st. And when I pulled up to her apartment, I said, well, my life can only go up from here because I've reached rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, I got evicted in November. By April, I was signing a lease to my own salon.
Oh, wow.
My very own salon. How that happened was I would sit and I would just visualize me having a salon. I'm like, I know I can do it. I just believe it. I would just visualize it. I would just visualize the detail and the decor. And I had no idea where it was going to be. I had no idea when it was going to happen. But I was like, all I have is time. I'm going to visualize it. And I was driving one day. I worked at a barbershop 2 doors down from my salon. It was my uncle's barbershop, and I was driving. And in my mind, I was visualizing and I was feeling the emotions. And I was saying, I know one day I'm going to have a salon. I'm going to have a salon by the end of the year. This was in April. I'm going to have a salon by the end of the year. And I heard a voice within me say, why not now? I'm like, what? I know I don't hear voices. I don't hear voices.
Okay.
But I heard it. It was like inwardly. I just felt it. And I felt inspired to look at the spaces next door. I called the property managers. I met with them that day. I filled out the application. I had the salon the next day. Now, mind you, I was just evicted. Credit was, barely had $3,000 in my account. And the next day, so within 24 hours, it went from in my head to in my hand, all because I visualized it and I spoke it over and over and over. And I just vibrated really high, felt inspired to do it, and I had my salon the next day.
Wow. So did you just do these visualizations like throughout the day, or did you have specific moments of the day? Oh, it was just a thing that was just burning in your head.
At that time, I had very little awareness of the power of my mind, or a little bit about the law of attraction. I knew just enough to know, hey, if I start to think things and say things, something good can happen. And I just started introducing myself to like Tony Robbins and Abraham Hicks. I think I just started listening to her as well. So I wasn't immersed into consciousness, frequencies, vibration, energy like I am now. But I knew, and sometimes ignorance to it is the answer, because I wasn't overthinking it. I'm like, hey, they say if you can feel it like it's real and you can see it in your mind, it happens. So I was like, well, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, because the thing is, sometimes, some of these very important concepts that you see some of these people talk about, right? I've had to experience some of these things ignorantly. For instance, when I was in high school, I used to play basketball a lot. But one thing I realized was I was always playing basketball in my mind. I was good at it. Nah, for real. When it came to 3 points, my boys out there, they know what I'm talking about. When it came to 3 points, I was so good. I was just naturally good at playing basketball. But now when I think of it, it was because I spent all my time playing basketball in my head. I'll be in my head, right? In my mind. We have a game tomorrow. I've already played it in my head. This is what my first move is going to be. This is how I'm going to try to position. This is my angle where I'm very, very good at. And I'm already playing basketball. I'm playing a game before it actually happens. You understand? Then I'm wondering why I was so good at it. Then I went out there and I played well. Why? Because this is something that I had constantly in my mind. There was that desire, burning desire. You understand? And I realized I lost it in life when I was growing up. I just didn't play anything in my head anymore. It's real. When they say what you have going on in your mind is definitely going to manifest somehow in reality. So what you have in your mind, you have to check it. If you
Yeah.
can direct your mind to be able to stay focused, thinking about a certain thing, that thing is going to get realized.
Absolutely.
That's the truth about it. And like I said, it's just the thing that they say the power of positive thinking, or maybe think and grow rich and all of these things. They are these very same concepts. Some of us leave it already ignorantly.
Yeah.
But now when you have come to understand, and then you decide to harness this knowledge and channel it towards something that is more productive, it works.
Yes.
It works all the time.
Every time.
This podcast here, right, is being realized because I've played this episode in my head over and over. I've sat in this house, I've rearranged the positions, I've bought different kind of chairs,
Yeah.
trying to play this thing out. I sleep every time I'm thinking about how I need to perfect my editing skills. And that's why it is happening. That's why we have a podcast live right now, because for the past 2 years, 2 years, I've been playing this idea in my head. And look, so what here is actually trying to emphasize is this idea of thinking. Your mind should be that place where you create, not a place where you escape. Our own words.
I love it. That's what I live by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. There's a lot of studies that show the performance of people who rehearsed in their mind and the people who actually physically rehearsed. And I think it was just like maybe 1 or 2% off with the actual results. There was I think it was like a basketball team actually, and the coach had this team just visually practice the game.
Yeah.
They had another team physically practice. And the results were so close in how they performed. It was like literally off. The people that practiced maybe were like 1% higher than the ones who just mentally practiced.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is like an amazing study. And the studies are showing how that mental practice and work. And that's what I did. I saw it over and over again.
Just visualizing
Just
it.
visualizing
and
it.
thinking about it, and
Absolutely.
that's the power.
Yeah.
That's the power of playing those things in your head.
Absolutely.
All right. So was there a specific belief or mindset you had to let go of in order to step into your new identity as a coach?
Every day I have to let go of a mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every day there, and I'm glad that it's like this because it keeps me on my toes. But I had some mindsets I had to get rid of, and some of them I have to reprogram every day. So I'll say that. Imposter syndrome was one of them.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou struggled with this a lot. Maya Angelou would often think they're going to find out that I'm really not that smart. Or they're going to find out that I'm really not that great. She was amazing, right? I struggled with imposter syndrome because of the things that were spoken over me.
Yeah.
Having those kids young, people try to put your value low. I struggled with not being enough. I struggled with, I mean, Tino, how many times did I text and call you with my event, just like wanting to give up and just stressed, and you'd be talking me off a ledge. And so thinking that I was alone in that feeling, so many people feel and they struggle with that. That's why it's important to have a community of people, because you realize, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
But feeling like, who am I to do this? Who am I to throw these huge events?
Yeah.
Who am I to coach these women? Who am I? Just a young girl that had a whole bunch of kids. I was still stuck in that space. And it came over into my everyday life. I had to let go of that. Who am I not to?
There you go.
I'm everything. If anyone can do it, I can do it. No one's better than me, and I'm no better than anyone else. Who am I not to? I shifted that mindset.
Oh, nice. Thank you. So, challenges are definitely not setbacks. Can you tell us about a time when something unexpected or difficult happened in your life, but ended up being a blessing in disguise?
Oh God, how many? I have so many stories. Sure, you want me to just choose one?
I mean, just one that you think a lot of our fellow viewers can relate to.
When I got fired from my job.
Ah! We're not going to talk about jobs today, please. But go,
I got
come on.
fired from my job. I was
Okay.
at my job for 6 years. This is before cosmetology, and I got fired.
Yeah.
And on one hand, I was really relieved, and on one hand, I was terrified. Because, like, okay, my money's going to be cut in half now. And I was like, okay, what I'm going to do? And I was like, go to cosmetology school, you know? That was hard because I know how much I'm bringing home every 2 weeks. I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
I got rent, I got car payment, I got car insurance, I got daycare fees because my youngest daughter, she still was in daycare, after school program, part-time at the daycare. On the outside, I was like, oh, I'm good. But on the inside, I was stressed. And I was like, well, what are you good at, Tia? I can do hair. And I was at a friend's house, and she was telling me about her sister who does hair. And she was like, yeah, she just made $2,000 this week. And this was in 2010, right?
I know, right?
So I'm like, $2,000 in a week.
That was a salary.
I wasn't even bringing home $2,000 every 2 weeks at that time. So I was like, I can do hair. I can do this.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into cosmetology school. And I also was like, this is a great opportunity for me to make my own schedule. My daughters are still young, but they're going to get older and I need to be present.
Yeah.
So me losing my job, I thought it was like, what am I going to do? But it gave birth to Elite 82 Hair Studios, which I have for close to a decade. And I have been an entrepreneur for 15 years now.
See, that's a very beautiful story there because when I look at it carefully, I would understand that speaks volume, actually. You know, one thing happens to you, and at the moment it's such a very bad thing. You just lost your job, you lost your income, you know, you just automatically invited all these frightful ideas. Where's the money gonna come for?
So scary.
Rent, the bills, and it's so scary, right? Because you are just so focused at looking at things from just one angle. You are placed and you're stuck in your view, in your vision is just one-sided. You need directional. You understand? But then we always feel that if you just shifted your position, you just have to move an inch. You know, move an inch. It's not going to be the same thing. You won't
Right.
see it the same way. Right. Like what you explain, I don't want to go into my own case. This is going to be a whole other episode. You know,
Yeah.
but it speaks volume. It is because you were fired that the universe kind of like opened up. And that's why you felt it in your heart. Cosmetology school. And then cosmetology school. And that was not it. It didn't stop there.
Nope.
Bam. Again, you keep listening to yourself. What? A coach. It didn't only end in coaching. Bam. Events.
Yeah.
You are creating empowerment events, attracting all these people. It is not going to end there. What is next?
Oh, man.
Tell us.
Oh, gosh. So there's so much in store. I'm going to write a book. And I'm building my community right now with my organization. Speaking all over the world, having retreats. So me going to Jamaica, that opened up my eyes to see, oh, I need to create a life where I can do this whenever I want, travel whenever I want. But yeah, I have, it's so many things I got going with my organization. events. I mean, I'm trying to do my next one maybe in Vegas and just have it huge. And, you know, I want to be a #1 best-selling author, one of the top speakers in the world. I mean, gosh, the list can go on and on. There's so many things that the doors are opening up for me to do. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. There was something I wanted to say, but it escaped my mind. All right. Yeah. Looking back at your life, if you had the opportunity to relive this life again, is there anything you would want to do differently?
I would have believed in myself sooner. And I would have kicked fear in the ass every time it sprung up and held me back. I wouldn't change my journey. I wouldn't change my children. God, what would life be without them? I would have believed in myself sooner. I could have been further, but it's okay. That's the only thing I would have changed. Loving myself sooner. Taking risks. We're all going to leave up out of here one day. Yeah. Take the risk.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a short question. Anyway, now the question I had has come back to my mind. So, when it comes to Jamaica, I know this is not really part of the podcast conversation as such, but but you know, it can't escape my mind. I've heard from a lot of people, especially women, every time they go to Jamaica, they always come back with this glow on their face, like, it was so beautiful. I only hear women talk about it. Like, guys don't ever say shit like this, you know? And this is for us, the guys, from the guy community. We want to understand what happens to our women when they go to Jamaica. Why they come back all happy and, Jamaica, please. Just help some of our viewers understand this. It's something I can't understand myself.
It's not what you guys think. Stella did not get her groove back, okay? For me, outside of the people being absolutely beautiful. So recently I did my ancestry and I found that I'm like 45% Nigerian or something. Like I have a huge amount of Nigerian in me. And then after it's 28 or something Cameroon. And, so being a Black African American in America, you do have a sense of like, where do I really come from, Yeah. And I know that Jamaicans, a lot of them came from Nigeria. So I've always wanted to go to Jamaica because I love the food. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
And I'm big into curry and jerk and plantains. And I just I could eat the food every day, right?
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to go there because when I live in Atlanta, Jamaica food was amazing. So that's always been just something I want to do. But when I got there, it was so much more than what I thought. So I planned for excursions. I had already paid for them. ATVing, zip lining, horseback riding, all of the things.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of them. Wow. Jamaica for me was so refreshing because I sat in the ocean majority of the time. And I just listened to the water. It was so beautiful and it was so clear. And I felt at home. And I was around people that looked like me. And my beauty, although it is admired in the States, it was admired on a different level. Like it was, I just felt so proud to be just in my skin. Now, of course, the men are gonna flirt. That's life, right?
Yeah.
That happens to me when I'm walking down the street. That happens to me in Target, honey. But being around so many beautiful people, and I saw a lot of couples there and single people as well, just being in an all-inclusive resort, not worrying about anything. This is already paid for. This is how I feel like my life should be all the time. I got a glimpse of how bliss felt. Everything's paid for already. I eat what I want when I want, and I didn't gain not 1 pound. The weight I went out there, I came back that same weight. You eat what you want, you get up, and you can watch the sunrise, feet grounded in the ocean, 6 a.m., beautiful scenery, amazing culture, live entertainment. That was Jamaica for me. I wasn't out there for what some people may, but I stayed on the resort the whole time.
Yeah.
So I didn't even go off and party. I literally...
You didn't go on that rafting way, they paint people's body white and stuff like that?
I didn't do that. And I wasn't going to do that no matter what, because you ain't just going to
Are
be...
you sure you went to Jamaica?
I'm positive I went to Jamaica, but these men about to be rubbing on me for free. Like, absolutely not. So that's just not my, it's not my personality anyway. But so I didn't do any of those things. I did do the clear kayak where you take the photos. I'll show them to you in the kayak with the drone. But that's the only thing I did off the resort. I stayed on the resort the entire time.
Okay.
And so for me, when you see me beaming with light, it's because I got a glimpse of bliss and how I believe my life is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be able to wake up and not feel so heavy. The world should not be just heavy on my shoulders. Yeah. I should be able to watch a sunrise and just be at peace and just hear nature and eat really good food and not feel sluggish and socialize. Like, it just gave me a glimpse of like why we were really created. To just enjoy and to grow and to learn. Was everything perfect at the resort? No, there was a few things, but you just keep going like, oh, whatever. So when I talk of Jamaica, I speak of it because I felt like I was close to home. I know my ancestors, like I said, Jamaicans are, a large amount of them are from Nigeria. They, they they sailed there and they took over and they fought and they overcame. And I love that about the spirit of Jamaica. Yeah. And so, that was my experience. Some other women may have a different experience. So my experience isn't I was doted on. Granted, it was flattering. It was very flattering to be admired so much. But outside of that, it was just to be in pure bliss. Because I love nature, I think, more than anything, besides my children. I love nature, so I was able to just be, amazing. It was so beautiful.
That is the bliss from Jamaica, guys.
So guys, it wasn't, I don't know what y'all ladies be doing out there, but that wasn't my experience. Okay. Nobody was rubbing on the thighs, okay? So.
All right, I think we've really had a very good conversation. But before we conclude, it's a tradition and the spirit of our podcast to ask you this question. If your children's children were to listen to this conversation, what are the 3 things you would want them to know about you and the legacy you hope to leave behind?
That I think of them when I am visualizing my life. I think of my great-grandchildren. I think of my grandchildren. I think of you. And I don't even know what you look like. I've never saw you, but I think of you. I think of you, and I think about how your life is going to be set up, because your great-great-grandmother took a chance and believed in herself and wanted more for you. So just know this isn't by accident. I thought of you. You were in my mind when I decided to step out and empower women and host these events and coach, and everything I do, I think of my children's children's children. I want you to know you were thought of. I want you to know that you come from a line of women, of people who fought hard, who did not give up, no matter what they said about us, no matter what stereotypes were placed against us. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your mother, she did not give up. So I want you to remember not to give up and to think of the next generation, just like I thought of you. So keep it going. Don't give up. And the third thing I would want my lineage to remember is that your life has meaning. It has purpose. Life is going to make you question it. Things are going to come your way that sometimes make you feel like you don't even want to be here anymore. It can get that rough at times. Hopefully not for you. But I would want my great-grandchildren to know that they have purpose, that they have meaning, and that everything always works out anyway. Just relax. You're going to be fine. And the fourth thing is that you should be so proud that your grandma was this fine. Like, I mean, come on. This is your great-grandma here, you guys. Your great-great-grandmother in all her majesty and all her glory. Take it upon you, my children. It's yours.
That's so. This Niger girl. You don't forget to tell them that you are Nigerian.
And you're Nigerian. This is why I do things on such a large scale. I was like, oh, it makes sense because Nigerians go big.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand, like, why do I have these grandiose things? And like the event that I just did, I had a singer and a poet and a comedian and a men's panel and a, live band. Is just huge. It's because I'm Nigerian. It's in my blood. We don't give up. We keep going. We push. We're strong. We're resilient. We're beautiful. So, yeah.
Wow. What a conversation. Tia King brought the heat today, reminding us the power of consistency, the beauty of self-love, and the magic of imagination. Her story is proof that transformation doesn't just happen in the gym. It touches every part of your life when you commit to the process. If there's one thing I'm taking away, it's that no matter where you are, it's never too late to rewrite your story. If you want to know more about the work Tia King is doing in our community, feel free to visit the links below and follow her on your social media platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. And always keep believing in yourself, stay active, and take action to turn your dreams into reality. Until next time, stay blessed. Keep creating the life you were born to live. I am Baba. Oh, ho, oh. See that?
Wow.
We did it, right?
We did it.